Mr. Daniels says that love without trust is just a lie. And if the polygraph test proves Miss Whittington has been cheating, that means he's been living one for the last 7 years. Today, on Divorce Court. All rise. The Honorable Judge Starr presiding.
Hello, everyone. You may be seated.
Your Honor, the case of Daniels v. Whittington.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Daniels and Ms. Whittington. Glad to have you here in divorce court today. As I understand, you all have been together for 7 years. You've been engaged for 1.5 years. You are still presently living together, although you have no children together. So, Mr. Daniels, you're trying to make a determination if this is a relationship for the long haul. Am I correct, sir?
Yes, Honorable Judge Starr. Me and Chevonne have been together, and I'm here today in the court to have her take a polygraph test. There's been a lot of shady and sneaky behavior that I often written off, and as we move forward with more commitments and moving to another place, I need to know that she's telling me the truth, and there's been some question about her faithfulness that's gone unanswered. So I'm here to get some answers today.
And Mr. Daniels, you are looking for clarity. Ms. Whittington, what are you looking for, ma'am?
I'm looking to keep my husband, because I call him my husband, because I love him. And ever since I met him, I've always knew he was going to be my man. And I'm not leaving today without marrying him.
So you're telling me we're going to come to a solution because you know that you've been faithful, am I correct?
Correct.
Okay, so let's see if we can get those answers to the questions that Mr. Daniels has percolating in his mind and in his heart. Take me back, Mr. Daniels. How did you all meet, and what has led to us coming into divorce court today?
Okay, I've known Chevonne previously just by facing and passing where I used to work. And around 2018, we just happened to see each other again. We were both volunteering at a political event in the downtown area of Baltimore. And it was rainy. I had my umbrella. They had some music going, and we just kind of naturally started talking, being that we were two familiar faces. And we've honestly haven't left each other's side after that.
Do you remember it that way, Ms. Whittington?
Yes, I do. I still do. Because we danced off of Fantasia, so it was wonderful.
Yeah, Fantasia have you grooving in a minute now.
Yeah, she
Absolutely.
did.
So it sounds very romantic. It sounds the way we all want to start out. How did it change?
The relationship began to evolve when there has been some sneaky and questionable behavior.
Sounds like you started to have some doubts about your ability to trust your fiancé. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So at the core of this, it's the word trust, which for me is the core of any real relationship.
Absolutely.
Tell me what made you start to question her trustworthiness.
She was in her phone, looking into her phone, and I just out of curiosity asked what she was doing. She was very evasive.
Okay.
I kind of made a way to look she was doing, and she was looking for resale prices and value prices of the ring that she was with me to purchase.
How long after the engagement?
This was almost immediately, within the first couple weeks.
No.
I'm listening, Ms. Whittington.
The reason I looked at it is because we're talking about moving, and I wanted to have I wanted to look to see the values, so if we had to get rid of something, we could get rid of the ring. I don't want to sell my ring. I love my ring. I'm not going to let it go.
Why didn't you share that with your fiancé? I'm curious.
Because he's so depending on me. He's depending on me to do better than what I do.
Explain what that means, because I completely understand wanting to make sure that if, in case something happened, you had a backup plan for the two of you. But that seems like a conversation you have together.
Yes, that's a conversation we have together, but that's kind of a more minute point. There's been several times when, for example, I'm not a Facebook person. That can cause a lot of questions and problems in relationships.
Oh, honey, I completely believe that social media is the devil, okay?
Absolutely. At the start of our relationship, I let it be known, I don't do media. I'm gonna ask you not to. Then all of a sudden, I look around and find her with a full Facebook page. I looked in her photos. There's old photos of old husbands, boyfriends, a lot of new guys in her DMs. And I try not to make it a huge issue, but when we start seeing pictures of exes and Facebook, that's not going to work.
Okay, Mr. Daniels, I hear your point. Ms. Whittington, what do you say to this?
I wasn't looking at the pictures. I'd never looked at the pictures. I was just posting what's going on in my life because I want everybody to see that I'm happy and that I'm moving on. And
So, wait, Ms. Whittington, let's go back for a minute. When the two of you got together, there was clearly a conversation about social media and one partner not being a fan of social media.
Correct.
Did you say at any time, well, I will not post anything about us, but I do want to be able to keep my personal friends and family informed of what's happening with me?
I never did, and that was my fault. I should have spoken up and said,
100%.
well, Mark, I use Facebook to talk to my family and friends because I've moved away.
What you're describing, there's not one problem with that. The problem is that you didn't share it with your fiancé.
I'm sorry, Judge Starr, but speaking of not sharing, even in the beginning of our relationship, just getting a clear understanding of her divorce, the fact that she was married, she hid that from me.
You didn't know she was married
I did
before?
not know for about the first month and a week. And I had to really sit her down. I forgot what she said, but it alluded to a divorce. So I had to say, Chevonne, let me hold up. You were fully married. And then she divulged that it's been a long 10-year marriage. This is before our first break.
So I'm going to go to Ms. Whittington again, Mr. Daniels. Ms. Whittington, what happened with this non-disclosure?
Because I felt that he never asked, so I wouldn't have to say anything. Don't ask, don't tell. That's how I was always raised. If they don't ask, you don't tell.
So at the time you all met, were you fully divorced?
Yes. We had been divorced over 5 years.
Okay.
It'll be 3 o'clock in the morning, and she's totally gone.
Where would you be?
I would either be in Miss Joanne's room watching divorce court, or I would be going around asking for a cigarette or snacks, and he gets mad about that.
At 3 o'clock in the morning?
In her robe.
The only thing open at 3 o'clock in the morning is gas stations and legs.
No, not mine.
Did you all sit down and have any conversations, Mr. Daniels, about your past, the kind of relationships you've had, and that kind of thing?
Shortly after that incident, I had to sit her down and really drive in the importance of us being fully disclosing of our past, our current habits, so we can have a better union.
So here's my question, though. How soon after you meet do you commit and move in together?
The moving in happened about quite a while later.
So you all had time in between to have some of these conversations. That's why I'm asking.
And I think that speaks to her nature of hiding the truth.
So you actually think she has cheated on you?
Yes. 2 parts to this incident. One, the fact we live on the west side of Baltimore.
Okay.
She was supposed to be going to her friends. Come to find out, she's all the way across town on the east side of town. I find this out by going through her phone, and in the text, she's almost demanding and expecting taxi money from another gentleman. That is the day I truly believe she was unfaithful to me.
I was with a friend and I, we went somewhere, and we didn't have the money to go home. I had somebody, and I asked them to, give us the money so we could get home.
Was a male?
Yes.
I think Mr. Whittington is wondering why you were in a place where you had to depend on another man.
Because I knew he didn't have it.
How does that make you feel, Mr. Whittington?
I feel hurt. First off, the fact that you hid means there was something probably given.
So I can see, Ms. Whittington, Mr. Daniels may have a little insecurity when it comes to you, but let me be very clear, even a broken clock is right twice a day.
No, his clock was always wrong. Mm-hmm.
So Mr. Daniels is concerned that all of these different things is what would add up to shady behavior.
One thing that we're constantly embattled over, I would go to work and would come home and go to sleep, and I would wake up often, and she's not in the room. It'll be 3 o'clock in the morning, and she's totally gone.
Where would you be?
I would either be in Miss Joanne's room watching divorce court, or I would be going around asking for a cigarette or snacks. Because I'm a snackaholic. I love snacks. And he gets mad about that.
At 3 o'clock in the morning?
At 3 o'clock in the morning,
Because
Your
nobody
Honor,
sleeps in the house but him.
in her robe.
I know, but you know where I come from, Miss Whittington. The only thing open at 3 o'clock in the morning is gas stations and legs.
No, not mine. Not mine.
And Your
So
Honor,
not my legs.
We asked Ms. Whittington, since starting your relationship with Mr. Daniels, have you had any sexual contact with anyone other than him? And what did the test results indicate?
The polygraph examination results indicated
Has there ever been an incident that made you concerned?
absolutely. It's not one incident. It is an ongoing battle. She constantly is bothering the other male housemates in the house for things like snacks, cookies. You give someone a snack, they might want some cake. And that's exactly what I...
So, Miss Whittington, what I hear Mr. Daniels say is, why put yourself in a trick bag that you
And
don't
she's
have
doing
to be
this in her robes.
Oh, come on. But I have clothes underneath.
So my question is, why, when you know that your fiancé doesn't particularly care for you doing that, would you continue to do it?
Because I'm just asking for a snack. That's it. That's all.
But you
Judge
could
Starr,
you could bring your own snack. Yes,
Just start-
sir.
It's not only snacks. It's cigarettes also. As we get older, I'm 51, she's 52. We're looking to grow away from cigarettes. There was one incident where she's not in Miss Joanne's room watching divorce court where she should be. I go downstairs to the kitchen, and she's coming out the kitchen living room area with one of the housemates that lives downstairs, the main one she gets cigarettes or snacks from.
Let me guess, and it's a man.
It is a man.
It's not Miss Joanne.
There are
'cause Miss Joanne don't always
3
have
other
cigarettes either.
gentlemen in our house.
3 o'clock in the morning, trolling the house for snacks and cigarettes is not a good look. That's number one. Number two, smoking cigarettes at our age, certainly not a good thing. And then the next issue is, why, when you know your fiancé can't stand you doing it, do you continue to do it? See, that seems to me one of the problems.
I think because I've always been the youngest out of all my siblings, and I've never heard the word no. Not once from my mom, my dad, or anybody.
Well, you
Nobody's
hearing
never
it now
said the
because-
word no, and it's totally different because he will say no, and I'm not used to that.
Here's the deal. You better get used to it, because in a relationship, y'all are not going to always have a meeting of the minds. And this is why we are in the position that we are in today. As I understand it, Mr. Daniels, you petitioned the court
Yes.
for a polygraph examination.
Yes.
And Ms. Whittington, you willingly said that you would submit to it. Am I
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
We have with us Mr. John Yarbrough, a certified polygraph examiner from Guardian Polygraph Services. Will you ask the witness to join us?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Good day, Your Honor.
Good day, Mr. Yarbrough. Mr. Yarbrough is familiar with my courtroom. He's been an expert in the field of polygraph examinations for public and private entities. And based on his extensive experience and credentials, I have found him to be a qualified expert in polygraph examinations, and he provides services to this court on a continuing basis. Mr. Yarbrough, I asked you to put 2 questions to Ms. Whittington. Am I correct?
That is correct.
Wonderful. Question number 1. Ms. Yarbrough, we asked Ms. Whittington, did you have sexual contact with that man whose room Mr. Daniels caught you coming out of at 3 o'clock a.m.?
That is correct, Your Honor.
What was Ms. Whittington's answer?
She answered no.
And what did the test results indicate?
The polygraph examination results indicated there was deception to that question.
Oh,
No,
really?
it's not. Come on,
Second
Mark.
question. We asked Ms. Whittington, since starting your relationship with Mr. Daniels, have you had any sexual contact with anyone other than him?
That is correct, Your Honor.
What was Ms. Whittington's answer?
Her answer was no.
And what did the test results indicate?
The Polygraph examination results indicated there was deception to that question.
No,
on now,
get out
come
of
on.
here.
No, it's not no deception, babe. I have no reason to lie to you. I am there for you, and I never lied to you.
Wow.
And I've never lied to
Wow.
you. I've
And
never
I've
slept
heard
with
that
anybody.
before.
That's not the question.
And I've heard that
That
before.
question was not, did you have sexual intercourse? The question was, did you have sexual contact? Am I
No,
correct,
That is
Mr.
and I've never
Yarbrough?
had sexual contact.
That was the question, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yarbrough. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
So, Ms. Whittington, people like to parse words. I'm talking about intimate contact with another person.
No, never. Not once.
And so you're saying that the polygraph examination is incorrect?
Yes, I am. I am so saying it's incorrect because he knows I love him, and I love him with all my mind, heart, body, and soul. And I prayed for a man like him.
I'm not questioning whether or not you love him. I'm questioning whether or not you've been faithful.
I've been very faithful, and I am so faithful.
Mr. Daniels, do you believe her?
Come on.
At times, things are too good for me to believe in. We're going to need to take a step back. We need to talk about getting that engagement set. We're moving across town.
My advice is that you not move together.
Absolutely. We both invested to move the $700 and the ring set, because
I'm not giving the ring back.
You're breaking a promise, and you want to keep your promise ring.
I'm going to keep my ring because I'm not going to lie to you, and I'm not going to show you wrong.
And I've
so
heard that
therefore,
before.
I think that you should give me another try.
I'm going to need that back.
No.
I'm going to need that back.
No.
You know, Ms. Whittington, it's interesting. You all were engaged in Maryland. This court sits in Georgia, and Maryland usually follows what the majority of states do in our country. And in Maryland, engagement rings received before marriage are generally considered non-marital property and belong to the recipient normally, regardless of who ended the engagement. That means the recipient keeps the ring in the event of a divorce. However, Maryland courts view engagement rings as conditional gifts. The condition is contingent on the marriage taking place. If the marriage does not happen, the condition is not met.
Right.
And then the ring is to revert to the giver.
Wow.
However, you have it on your hand, and I am certainly not taking it off. There's something in Georgia referred to as the dirty hands doctrine. When you're the one that caused the engagement to be broken, usually the courts side with the giver. And I'm going to say to you, Ms. Whittington, I have worked with Mr. Yarbrough for many, many years now, and you can't beat the box. There was deception noted, and that means there is deception. I'm not going to tell you what you've done. I'm not going to tell you the extent of it, but there was deception. And you have not come clean to your fiancé about whatever issues are going on in your relationship. I have no doubt when you say, I love him. But there are problems because you've been sneaky and you've been shady. You've held things back. That's why he don't believe you. Mr. Daniels, this is on you, whether or not you think that you can move forward in this relationship. But if you want my advice, I would not put my future in the hands of somebody whose past I'm not sure of and whose present is shady. This case is over.
Made in Georgia.